Wawa, wawa nui. Loving the bear, huh? Okay, yeah, Annie Bear, wawa nui. And wawa to Hypnicity and wawa nui to Rush as well. Hopefully Karen Robinson pops back in over here. And lovely to see you this morning. Okay, I'm going to express that the bear is actually, it's called medicine. It's a support animal for the month that we are in. The month of Namu, which is the month of the dove, has two supporting animals, just like every one of ours will have. And so it has two of them. It has the bear and it has the eagle. So the bear is referred to as Uta, and it is the support medicine. So you may see during this month, you may see, of course, Namu, which is doves. You may see doves. You may see other similar birds can show up in the space. So if you say you don't have doves in your area, you may have a variety of different doves too, but you may have pigeons as well. And sometimes I think even grouse can stand in for them. I need a cold flare, any healing energy. Absolutely. Hey, hey, Karen Robinson, how you doing again? But what, as I was saying, is with this month, you may also be seeing symbols of the bear, and you may also be seeing symbols of the eagle. Those are the two support animals. Then painting and letting go of comparing myself to others. A lot of letting go tears this morning. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, if you are new to me, the other thing that I'm going to be doing is going to be some energy healing in the form of energy balancing. And so we're just going to hop right on in, and I'm going to see if we can get loaded then. It's a little embarrassing, but hey. This was me at the beach. This location is called Beverly Beach, and it is down the coast. It is a beach that is to the north of Newport, Oregon. So heads up, Sterling sees a significant earthquake in the ocean off the west coast this week. We also have a hurricane called Kiko. Thank you. This is a much older photo of me. This was actually taken back in 2017, walking on the beach. So let me see. Yeah, we have Hurricane Kiko that is wrapping around to the north of Hawaii right now. And so it wouldn't surprise me if we have a little of shaking going on as well. We'll see if we can keep the energy here calm. I don't want a little bit, but yeah, and there have been several different earth changes going on. I've seen, of course, earthquakes that have happened over in, trying to remember which one it was. I want to say Afghanistan. And then at the same time, there was magma flows that were coming into Mount Vesuvius and some of the other volcanoes around Italy. So, and also up in Iceland. So yeah, the Earth, she's definitely shifting things around, and I would say taking off old clothing. You know, she's doing some shuffling around right now, and just if she could just do it, continue to do it calmly, we're happy with that. So also, as I was saying, I'm hopeful that my computer will go ahead, my internet will hold. We have had a military plane flying around this morning, and usually with that particular one that I hear, there's usually about 2 or 3 other jets that are surrounding that one. And I'm just hopeful that their need of the Wi-Fi doesn't interfere with mine. So I am going to, I think she cleared her lower chakras. Not just a matter of the lower chakras. It's a matter of all of it coming into alignment. Because you know, when you go to shake one side of the table, the other side will also start to shift as well. So I'm going to get started with some of the Lemurian Light Codes. And so we're going to start off with what Huna Flash used to lovingly refer to as the login. I like to call it the harmonization because we're harmonizing our energies. And this is for anybody here and on the replay. So if you've entered in here and you're listening to the replay, or you've come back to the replay, I think this is going to help get everybody on the same page. Tie oi ora mahaka watai it ingwa te to irita o otapona wayu tapu it ingwa ta fenui trarani te kitao wayu tapu it ingwa ta faya tamatua tama wayu tapu tie ori ora a it i a u o e ube a il I un ul o ep tana e nu eb ma il I. Okay, I'm actually hearing this time through we're going to be using Tukupengamui, and we're going to be going through the Po'ata at the same time. Tukupengamui hakata, Tukupengampaui, Tukupengamui toropa, Tukupengamui potehi, Tukupengamui upo, Tukupengamui Daidu, Tukupengamui Duma, Tukupengamui Takika, Tukupengamui Kakima, Tukupengamui Takima, Tukupengamui Kaka, Tukupengamui Naro, Tukupengamui Hawatu. And so what we've done there is we've taken the net of Maui and we have gone through the different stations of Po'ata, which is a slow rising pillar of light. Wawanui humanity. Carving up a pineapple. Ooh, happy 666 portal. Or 999 portal. Or in Lemuria, it's 4. It's a 4. We're actually in the 4th month of the year. We're actually in 4/9/2026 in the Lemurian calendar. Ahead of the light. Yeah, our bears here in the northern hemisphere, they're getting ready to finish with their feasting. They're getting all fattened up. They're thinking of hibernating. In fact, some of them are already going into hibernation in some of the higher climates. Some of the marmots and the groundhogs, the ground squirrels, are already going in much higher up. So lower part of Canada, Montana, they're already headed to ground. The gophers are. So fall, she is a-coming. Winter, she is a-coming. Oddly enough, okay, I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and I have to ask, well, I'll just simply state what's going on here. Are blackberries set very late in the year, and then practically nobody ate them? None of the birds have. I mean, I have got. They're not huge amounts, but there are blackberries on the vine. My hubby ate them. He said it's kind of a potluck thing. The birds aren't eating them. The deer aren't eating them. The elk aren't eating them. The bears are not eating them. It's a little strange. I felt a time warble or a shift at 6:49 this morning. I think I was still conked out. No, I take that back. I was up earlier than that. And that's one too. There has been so many time shifts over this last, I want to say 10 days now. It's not just one. I know all of us were kind of, for the longest time we were watching the two timelines split, one Earth versus the other Earth, but it's just so fast and furious right now that it's kind of important to just keep a focus on what is going to be your highest. Okay, so my neck has been bugging me as of late. So we've done that. Let me go over to the energy balancing part then. One of my favorite animals. Horses, of course. Of course, of course. And so we're going to get started with some energy clearing here. And I'm just going to chat as we go. And so for now, where I am is at the top of the neck, base of the skull. Today, since I know Hypnicity was struggling with a cold, she's not the only one. This is the time of year whenever the kidlets go back to school and then they share cooties and everybody passes around all kinds of different flus and colds and what have you. So we're going to be doing easing off. I can feel also pressure coming in, those atmospheric pressures as well. Hi, Lori Hansinger. Good timing. We've just started. It feels like I've been running a chariot nonstop. I know. And yeah, same as Annie Bear. Base of the skull has been sore for weeks. Same here, actually. It's strange too, because it feels like something is attached to the neck. There's been a lot of times that I've caught myself with my hands just grabbing things and then pulling it off. Base of the neck. And the neck itself, it feels really weird. Sore throat, but getting better. Glad to hear. Yeah, that's the other thing that's going around. So we're going to go through the throat, the lymph glands, of course, eustachian tubes. And I'm going to remind everybody, since it is the perfect time of year for it, but this is just sharing something that happened historically. Back in the 1930s, there was a German doctor, and he thought or theorized that colds actually landed on the eardrum itself. That was their point of entry, not through the nose or through the mouth. And so he recommended or suggested putting a few drops of hydrogen peroxide in each ear. He said, no, usually you would find one ear will foam more than the other. Sometimes both would foam. And that was his way of bumping off the cold virus before it actually went through the eardrum, down the eustachian tube, which created and presented as a sore throat and continued the rest of the cold cycle. Worse than previous years. One of the other things that you can do too, Hypnicity, is you can use things like iodine or zinc, especially if you're being challenged by the dreaded C's. Reach for zinc. It will mechanically support you. At the moment, I'm down on the collarbones. Any idea when we're going to observe the Lemurian calendar permanently? Humanity, I do not know, and it's probably going to be some time because it's being presented right now to the rest of humanity. And I know Hypnicity, I'm sending out the energy as much as I can. So, but with the Lemurian calendar, it's going to take time. And so a lot of times I try to explain people so that they can do 1 foot in the Gregorian calendar and then 1 foot in the Lemurian calendar. But, if you're in a position where you can observe, just simply do the Lemurian calendar permanently and it's not going to mess with your world or your functionality, you can go for that right now. Yeah, I know, Karen. I picked up on that and it already started down your collarbone. At the moment, I am on the top of the collarbones and also the tops of the shoulders and the shoulder blades themselves. Let me see what we got. So I've been doing the bubble technique. Beautiful, Annie Bear. I've also been doing chakra clearings twice daily. Gorgeous. And starting with the one perfect, the foot below the earth, which is called the Earth Star chakra, and then the one that is above the head, which is called Star chakra. Both of those in Lemuria is going to be referred to as Ma'ita. The high and the low are both Ma'ita, including a high heart, Tama. Beautiful. And an ears one. Beautiful. You're doing a great job, Annie Bear. Absolutely. I'm on the shoulder blades right now. And you know what? We're going to head right on down the back because I'm hearing a clearing coming up for COVID. And that's also going to support if you have colds, flus, or symptoms, because these really in the what I'm doing is a meridian based energy clearing, and so I'm working simply with the energy. This is not to heal, treat, diagnose, anything along those lines. Well, apparently Annie Bear's blackberries are way yummier than mine. I still have a ton of blackberries on the bush. And I gotta admit, the longer that the birds and the other animals aren't eating them, it makes me leave them on the bush. Usually if critters won't do it, I won't either. Starting to eat kidney beans soaked in chia seeds. Ooh, that sounds great. Okay, now let me close my eyes here. I'm gonna go kind of deep because my own acupuncturist supplied me with the pattern for support for these types of symptoms. The C and the colds and the flus and everything like that. So let's just get that pattern put out there. And this should help with, you should feel some sinus change. You should begin to feel energy going from the head and the top of the body down towards the lower back. And again, what we're doing is we're balancing energy flow in and around the body. And when that happens, then the symptoms will ease up, as they should. There we go. Okay, now we're going to go back to the back. So under the shoulder blades, down the back on both sides. Now where the back joins the top of the hips, pelvic girdle, sciatic, across the hip. I've been having clearing, cleaning, and amazing dreams. That's amazing, Annie Bear. Well done. You've really been working it. Now down the outer thighs. And again, if you have pets that are nearby, they'll be picking up on the same energy because this is all universal energy. So your kitties, your puppies, horses, livestock, birds, any of your pets will be able to pick up on this as well. So we're at the outer knees. And behind the knees, we actually have some lymph glands as well. And you may find during a cold scenario that that is going to be a little achy as well. So we're just going to clean that. Okay, that was a good pop in the back for someone. Now we're going to go down the shins and the outer calves. My body's been super achy at least 3 miles a day and still so achy. Annie Bear, I don't know if you have access to powdered plantain or dandelion tea, but you might want to try one of those just to see if it helps to pull the achy back out of your body. Down at the ankles, outer ankles, and the heel. Wow, that is a lot of congestion there. So this is stagnant energy that's been trapped in this region. That's what I mean by congestion. Kind of like whenever you're watching a stream and it's all sluggish and slow because there's debris that's been pushed into the stream. So what we're doing is we're pulling the debris back out and establishing that Both of them. You can do either or, and you've got it correct. Dandelion needs to be dandelion root, I'm hearing. But there's a lot of times if I have something going on and I can't quite put a finger to it, I'll grab some plantain just as a detoxer. But dandelion root especially, is really good as a blood cleanser too. Yep. And now I'm at the arches for both feet. Any of the suggestions that I do on here, these are just suggestions, of course. Follow what your body says. If your body decides it's not supportive, then nope, not for you. Balls of the feet now. Oh, here we go with toes. Okay, everybody, if you can do it, spread your toes out just a little bit, just a slight stretch with the toes. Don't hurt yourself. There we go. And just wiggle the toes a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and ground into Mother Earth. Beautiful. Okay, now you can relax your toes. Sometimes just that tiny little bit will help to move your energy and get it flowing all the way into anchoring into Mother Earth. There we go. But for now, just relax them. We're going to come up the inner foot. We're coming up the inner big toe, inner outer toe. So it's the one that's right next to the big toe. Up the arch, up the inner arch of your foot, both feet, coming up both feet, both inner ankles. Okay. Up the inner calves. Knees. Up the inner thighs. To the lap. Okay, now we're going to work on the tummy area. So if you get some tummy gurgles, you might get some rumblings. Go through and just soothe. And we're going to work through all the nooks and crannies in here. A lot of times we can have trapped abdomen issues because we've got emotions. A lot of times as humans, we'll stuff our emotions into this area because we've just got a grab and go sort of a thing. So things that you wanted to say, you just stuff them down. Sometimes that'll come out later as throat trouble. You can't express yourself. Ooh, that released a lot right there, especially over the hip areas. You don't have to go scream at somebody. If you want, you can go into an empty room, place a pillow over your mouth, and scream into that. Let people in the area know that you're going to do it ahead of time. And if you're going to do a scream therapy, be sure you support your throat and your voice structures by filling your lungs up, and then support with the lungs, support with a good strong diaphragm. Sometimes just yelling into a pillow aimlessly for 10 minutes, it gets all of that old out. Oh, wow, Nui, Rossi. We're about partway through an energy balancing right now. We're on the tummy area. Lovely to see you in here. And now we're going to come up underneath the diaphragm and under the rib cage. Sometimes that structure is very tight, and then we can't get a decent breath of air. Now we're coming up through the lungs, the heart space, and the pericardium, which is the sac that guards the heart. Now we're going to come up under the collarbones, into the throat, and now we're going to go up into the head. And here we're going to start at the base of the skull today. And we're just going to move the energy forward. Uh-oh, I can hear the airplane again, so hopefully everything holds. We're going to do the ears, the beautiful ears. You actually have a lot of acupuncture points on the ears themselves. So sometimes just rubbing your ears, playing with them will help. I went on a 3-hour hike in the parklands and stopped to speak with someone. And when I went back on my way, it felt like a different sort of out of body. That's so cool. Was it somebody that you knew or was it a random someone? Do you think it was the setting or do you think it was the person that affected you? There's a lot of things going on right now. Okay, this time we're coming up through the brainstem and the amygdala and the hippocampus, the other underlying supportive structures. These are the ones that usually do with our survival mode, our basic survival. Sometimes it's referred to as the lizard brain because these are our basic impulses, how we keep alive. I know sometimes we will speak down to our primal urges or our primal instincts, but they're what got us to where we are now. You know, it's the thing that kept us alive whenever something else was trying to eat us, or we were trying to eat something. Okay, now we're coming up into the structures at the top of the sinus cavity. So this is going to be like the pineal gland, the underskull area, the underskull structure, which ironically looks like a butterfly. Pituitary. Both sides of the brain now. We're going to massage the corpus callosum. Sometimes what you can do for fun is you can take your hands and just move them back and forth across your midline. So you can take your right hand to your left knee and your left hand to your right knee. Or you can do, what was it called? Chubby checkers, the twist. You know how I did the little twist with the body and the upper part of your torso goes one ways and then the other goes the other? When you're doing that, it's called crossing the Hara line, which is your midline, and it helps to, believe it or not, it helps to wire the corpus callosum in the brain. Babies, whenever they're doing the crawling, when they're crawling on the ground, they're wiring and strengthening this corpus callosum, and it's important because it allows your left side or your left hemisphere of your brain to talk to your right side of your hemisphere of your brain. So it helps you to become more balanced, just to help strengthen the brain. And now we're going to go to the frontal cortex. Matured, heightened human. And now we're going to go to the temporal lobes again, both sides. So it should be around your ears, your TMJ. And now we're going to go backward through the optic nerve and into the backs of the eyes themselves, the eye sockets. Beautiful. Yeah, I stretch my back that way. That's great, Rossi. I do that on my chair. Lower body one way, upper body the other. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to go to the upper sinus cavities. Yeah, somebody might have sneezed right there. That's a good release. See if we can get the tear ducts going as well. Tops of the roots of the teeth, tongue, gums, lower jaw, Roots of the teeth of the lower jaw. Did you sneeze? And the jaws themselves. Back up into the TMJ, which is where your jaw bones join your upper skull. Oop, another sneeze. Bless you. Hmm, there we go. I did. You're welcome. Now, if you've done the sneezing, try to get yourself a drink of water. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, but those sneezes, or if your eyes have been watering, if you've been doing some coughing, yawning actually is the most common for these. These are all indications. Tummy rumbles will be as well. Get yourself some water because these are indications that you had a release, and the water simply helps to move things out of your body faster. Okay, I can feel somebody still got some dizziness around the head and a little achy. So we're just going to back up into, it's not really the head structure itself, but it's kind of where it comes out of the head and it goes into the aura that's closest to your body. So we're just going to clean that area there. And then it moved to the lower left side of the skull, joining the head. There it goes. Now it's moving again to the front of the left head. We're just needing to clear that basic aura right next to the body. It sometimes can have congestion that close to the body as well. So for this person, what I want you to do is imagine standing under a diamond white light waterfall. Or if you prefer, you can pretend it's granulated sugar or powdered sugar, sluicing all the way through the top of your heads and down through your body. And it's going to be going through as a pillar of light, sparkly diamond white lights all the way around, in and around the body, filling you up with this beautiful diamond white energy. What we're doing is we're purging out the icky from your aura, from especially that inner auric field. There it goes. That's better. Just kind of shoving the stagnant, discordant energy out with this diamond white light that's coming in. And we're just going to squeeze that out of your aura. So it's further out, further out. Stomp your feet or wiggle your feet or pretend that you have roots coming from the bottom of your feet and allow the white light to go all the way down through your feet and into Mother Earth. She may change the color as you imagine those roots going from your feet into Mother Earth. It may change to like a pink or a green or a gold or a different color. Just allow it to happen. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So how's that feel, my dears? I think it was the person who made comments about different race of people uncomfortable. Excuse me? Humanity, I didn't see anything like that. So hopefully that comment wasn't here. I'm still getting dizzy from time to time. Lori Hunsinger, I have too as well. And even though I haven't had it in an extremely long time, I did have that trouble with the big C, and my acupuncturist did do that. That's why I've included it with today's energy. So you would have gotten a boost, and it definitely helped clear out a whole bunch of that type of patterning in my own energy system. So I've repeated it into this one as well. So I think it was, oh, you meant from your hike. Okay, now I understand. Made comments about different types of people and simply uncomfortable. Yeah. Well, I'm hearing humanity. I'm hearing water off a duck's back. They're showing me a duck that's just shaking, and the water just simply comes right on off, and it's not actually affecting the duck. And so you may just envision that whenever you come across. Because here's the thing, people are going to talk, and just because they've expressed what they feel in the moment, you don't have to take on their energy. You don't have to take on that viewpoint, and you certainly don't have to engage with them. You just literally water off a duck's back. And then you continue on with your own timeline. Sometimes I find it's a test with universe. It will see which timeline or which energy you wish to dwell on. So the faster that you can shake off a frequency or an energy or a them versus us or something along those comments. Um, yeah, it's a them versus us. I'm hearing the polarity duality thing. We're not in a polarity duality thing as we're trying to go up in our frequency. That's the whole point. We're stepping back away from that. Oh, so much pollen here, so my sinuses are staying irritated. Not too bad, fortunately. Well, that's a good thing. Yeah, I've been surprised at how much pollen has remained in the air. And there's just been a whole lot of timeline stuff. In fact, a couple weeks back, I had one, and I was reminded by a friend of mine because it was so alarming. I had walked through the doorway of into my bathroom, and as soon as I did, I entered into a bubble of just excessively uh, it was almost like being at the bottom of the sea. The air pressure had changed. It was just in this one bubble. I got incredibly dizzy, almost fell on my head. It left me staggering. I managed to walk through it. And then my friend reminded me that I needed to do some maneuvers with some salt because we had been doing some shifting and some changing of things behind the scenes in our home. And so sometimes what you'll find with if you're doing renovations or if you're doing a huge declutter, or you're coming and going from a home, it can stir ghosts in the home. And so one of my protection things I had actually picked up and hadn't I had cleaned, but I hadn't replaced it. So yeah, I instantly threw out the old salt, put some fresh salt into it, and yeah, within 24 hours, the energy was much, much better. So that's what last week was about. I was reminding people, sage, salt is your friend. Yeah, and this is just it because, I'm glad your friend reminded. We know this stuff. All of us that are here, we actually do know all this stuff. I'm simply reminding you of things. And this is why we do this, because as we're navigating through this stuff, we have to remind each other of techniques and therapies and modalities that we already do know. We've just forgotten it because if it is of the light, then it's easy. And if it's easy, we tend to forget it. Renovating the house currently. Well, Rush, if your home has any potential wee ghosties and things, I highly recommend placing bundles of sage around the home, especially in the rooms that you're doing, and uh, salt. If you've got animals or pets, make sure that if you have salt out in those corners of the home, that it is protected from the critters so that they can't just walk over there and eat a bowl of salt. That is not healthy. Same thing with the little kids. But if that is not a problem, what I did was I just took 4 different bowls and placed them in the 4 corners of my home and used salt. Any salt will do for that. And then whenever you feel the energy changing or you feel like you need it, throw the old salt out and put fresh in there. And yeah, it was very helpful. It only took about 24 hours to get that completely cleared. But at first, I'm like, what in the world? I really wasn't too sure what I had walked into. And it's not the first time. And these weren't ghosts that I had bumped into previously. They were different pockets of different atmospheric pressures. Um, Although in that case, it seemed to be because she was convinced that I had walked through a ghost, and it could very well be. But yeah, it's like this. Previously attacked, you bet. Rossi's got it in one. always have salt under my bed because I've been previously attacked in my dreams, which is no fun. And so I use the salt when showing too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it works. Yeah, I used to, the home that I lived in previously was in the Midwest, and it was absolutely haunted. We had a cemetery across the road. And so what we did was about once every 3 months, I would go purchase a shaker of Morton salt, and then I would just open the spout and then walk down the fence line between us and the cemetery and would use the salt as a line. And it worked to prevent anything coming onto our property from that direction. Also worked great for controlling the multifloral roses. I had a nightmare a couple of days ago. Oh, goodness. Yeah, dreams have not really been that awesome lately. And some of it is a little strange because our subconscious uses all kinds of symbols. And it may simply be filing away some sort of an event that you have had that day, and it could be something that's harmless. But the dream that you have is or that you have, it's just like, are you kidding me? How did it go from I had a couple pieces of toast this morning to, something that looked like it belongs in a Friday the 13th movie? It's a little bonkers. I feel like never able to completely protect my energy. Rush, are you doing the bubble technique? And by that, anybody that's listened in, you can go back to some of my older lives, and I've done a lot of timestamps under many of them, and so there are a lot of them where I will timestamp and have it timestamped for the bubble technique. Mom and Dad showed up to love me through it. Oh, that is so so sweet. That may actually be what the whole point of it is. The bubble technique. It's really fast, Rush. What it is you're imagining light coming from above. Actually, let's just run through it if everybody's amenable to it. Let me see if we can just go over here to the trees. I'll just go over to the trees. Oh, okay. You've got it. You've got it. Sure. So I'm dreaming of a lot of cleaning. Yeah. And I think it's generational. I agree. Absolutely, Annie Bear. Absolutely. Because it's not just our gunk. Although it's a perfect time between now and next February, we are really in retrograde energies right now for a lot of planets. And so it's the last look that we're having of the Piscean age. And so we are looking into, at least with the Gregorian astrology, that's what they say. So what we're looking into is what's coming with us, what needs to stay behind in that age, and what was valuable. I would say our energy healing techniques, bringing in the light, learning to connect, learning to self love. These are all themes that we learned in the age of Pisces, and we're ready to transport those themes over into the age of Aquarius that we're stepping into. And so, yeah, there's just a ton of figuratively and in waking times that we're doing a whole lot of cleansing right now, a lot of decluttering. Yeah, Nancy Jean also has a violet flame. Karen Robinson uses the violet flame too. And she also used the bubble technique. Well, there you go. That's funny. Great minds think alike. And yeah, that's great. I'm so glad. So so glad. But yes, absolutely. If you get the opportunity, clean your bedrooms and set them up. You can certainly set the bowls of salt under your bed or near the bed. and you can just ensure that your sleeping area is protected. Now, I will say where I used to live, I got to be where I had to create at night. I would have to create a palace or a shield protection around the bed as I went to sleep. And what I would do is I would imagine 4 different pillars at each corner of the bed. Sometimes they were extremely ornate, and normally they were of a white, like an orangish whitish gold color. And then once the posts were set, I would put up a force field in between all of the posts. And then there was a force field that went over the top, kind of like a ceiling. And then underneath, I would imagine also underneath the bed, so that I was pretty much asleep in a containment of a white, goldish, high vibe. But that was an extremely active home for many months, actually many years. The home itself was quite draining at times. Yeah, it may have been me releasing similar old beliefs with the betrayals. Yeah, that's a very good possibility. Yeah, definitely. You're welcome. Absolutely. Yeah, the campy style. You're welcome. It's a lot of fun, as much fun as it can be. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I had to do it, I was terrified because you'd be okay during the daytime, and then as soon as the dark starts to come in and the shadows start to creep in and things begin flashing and the darks begin gaining their power, and by the point that I manage to get in bed, I can't fall asleep because I can't breathe. And so, yes, I would do exactly the canopy style bed, and take my time just doing the ornate, what the ornate posts look like, the framing, and then I would just allow the color. But usually what I did was I hyperjacked the color, um, and just amped it up so high vibe that I imagine that they look like mosquitoes basically whenever they hit those bug zappers. They just piff, and it worked. I was able to finally get some relief and feel safe enough to go and drift off to sleep then. But yeah, it's like I said, haunted. It's one thing to go if you're playing around with it, and I get it, because it's a great way to explore a multidimensionality. But whenever you have to live in it, it's not as fun. It's quite exhausting, actually. But yeah, for anybody that's lurking, the bubble technique, I'm just going to trot through it right quick because it's kind of nice to do anyways. And so for the people, just go ahead and look up with your eyes and then just gently close your eyelids down while you've still got your eyes open behind the eyelids. And then just imagine a color, a light coming down from above, and let it be whatever color it wants to be. And allow it to wash over your head, bathing all through the top of your head, your eyes, your ears, your nose, soothing your sinuses, bathing down through your teeth, your throat, your neck, tops of the shoulders, down your upper arm, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, and allow it to go from your fingertips into Mother Earth. And the same light, imagine it going through your chest, bathing in and around your lungs and your heart, all the little spaces in and around the nooks and crannies. Good. Under the shoulder blades, bathing the shoulders themselves and your spine, through the diaphragm, down the back, into the abdomen, washing away any stuck energy, any stuck emotions, anything that you can deal with during your day. just pushing it out of the head, all the way down towards Mother Earth, down through your hips, your thighs, your knees, calves, ankles, and feet into Mother Earth. Now keep the light coming from above, and imagine Mother Earth is going to bring up an energy. She's going to have it be whatever color it wants to be. Imagine it bubbling up through your feet, through your ankles, calves, up through your knees, thighs, up through your hips, up through your back, tummy, up, all the way up through your diaphragm and into your heart space. Now, in your heart space where these two lights meet, I want you to form an orb or a bubble, sphere. See it form in your heart. Now open that bubble up so that it's much, much bigger, so that it's all the way around you and you step right into that bubble. And usually when you do this, you'll feel it stick into place. You'll know what size you want. If for any reason you are in an area where you feel threatened, you can do a larger bubble so that your aura is much further out and is protected. You can also, if you're an empathic person, you can set another color bubble around the first bubble. And in some cases, I've even heard people use a triple bubble. And that's for if you're really empathic. And the reason why is because and you can open your eyes and come back into your body when you feel prepared. When you're an empathic person, you're extremely sensitive to all of the energies that are around you. And you may accidentally take on somebody else's stuff. You may become angry for no reason at all. And what it is you have picked up their energy. That is not your energy to pick up. Same thing with sadness or heavy energies or even fear-based energies. Now, it's one thing to have the knowledge of that going on around you, but you need to ensure by doing a bubble technique that you're not accidentally picking up somebody else's stuff and it's going to be impacting your own auric field. And yeah, I agree absolutely with Annie Bear that we are the pattern breakers. And so we are the ones that are going to be setting that, as she said, for 7 generations going forward. Beautiful. Rossi's saying for her bubble technique, she's doing a white light inside a green light inside a blue light bubble. That's beautiful. Try to allow the colors whenever they're coming in to be whatever color it's going to be, and they will and can change. Sometimes if you have one that is not your favorite color and it comes in, it could be because your energy may be needing that for the day. So let's say that it's orange and you're like, ugh, not my favorite color. I don't really want to express orange. Well, your sacral chakra, which is just above your lap and below the belly button, that may actually be in a deficit. It may need that color coming from the universe in order to balance you. I do the release of energy, not mine, at least twice a day. Beautiful. Well done. And yeah, that is gorgeous. Call back any of my energies. I like all colors, so I don't mind. That's wonderful. That's very well balanced. I remember one day I took a whole bunch of photos of just these magnificent rainbows that I was seeing, and I was really deeply disappointed with my camera on my phone because the colors were so incredibly vivid to the naked eye. And then whenever I looked on my phone, it had all blended to a white rainbow. It was just a white rainbow, and I'm like, but where's all my colors? I do 3 bubbles: creator, mothers, and the light. Use it. Breathe in, and I still struggle Well, like walking, and that's just it. It's because we are still going through, like I said, we are we are currently regressed into the last stages of, to use the Gregorian phrasing, or the Gregorian astrology, we're in the last efforts of the Piscean age. So we're still moving forward, and it is a little turbulent, but I think we're doing really, really well. And yes, sometimes it is just like walking through molasses. Some days are just hideous. And I don't know about the rest of you, but some days it's like not only is it hideous, but you think you've done all this stuff, and then you look up at the clock and it's either 3 minutes past what you've just experienced, or in some really crazy spaces, it's actually even an hour ahead of the time that whenever you checked it and it was beginning. So it's a little bonkers. Yeah, the accordions of time. Exactly. What was that song? Mama's got her squeeze box. We're in the squeeze box right now. And yeah, absolutely. We are brave souls. Absolutely. Because, hats off to all of you, because you are showing up week after week after week. And most importantly, you are actually doing the work. You are showing up, you are handling your stuff, you're learning techniques, you're putting tools on your tool belt. And it's not easy to change. It's not easy to break these patterns. You're like little salmon going against the rivers. I love the greens. Annie Bear, you're really a Mother Earth. Much, much love. Yeah, I love the greens. Green, blue, brown, turquoise. Those are gorgeous colors, Annie Bear. Just beautiful. Absolutely. Okay, let me see. I think I had one more. Oh, yeah. Yes. And then all of this, let's remember friendship as well. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rush. That's so sweet. I appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Annie Bear. Yeah. Friendship, it makes our hearts lighter. And of course, we can be our own best friends, but it's always nice to have somebody to sit around and to share with as well. And it's really helpful too to have people that it's like, okay, is this happening to you? It's happening to me too. You're not crazy. There's so many times that on, especially on the journey, especially in the beginning, where it's like, oh, wow, am I really experiencing this? And then to find out other people are experiencing it too is very helpful. I know somebody in the Midwest. She's an older lady, and she was seeing an oval shape in the sky in the daytime, which of course was a UFO. But straight out of the gate, she went to her optometrist, which was very smart, and she had him check her eyes. And the reasoning why is because she needed to make sure it wasn't something medical. And he said, "No, hi Cat, Wawanui," and I can hear an airplane. But the main thing on it is he said, "No, you're not the only one. You're medically you're fine, but you're not the only one in the area that have been talking about seeing this oval in the sky." So they really, and it's reassuring, to hear this. Yeah, it's like this. I saw the two suns again yesterday. Yeah. Have you seen the two moon phenomena? That is crazy. Wawanui. You'd think we'd be past these twos already. Yeah, it's really disorienting. Um, when the moon, because there's been times whenever um, I've seen the moons go to the south of us, and then the next day it'll set to the north of us, and sometimes it will be a full moon, and sometimes it will be a dark moon. Just not 2 weeks, literally one night to the other. And Lori Hunsinger saying, Terry at Holding Your Space. She's a real sweetheart. She does a chat time every morning before we meditate. So it's so reassuring to have people posting what I'm experiencing. And there again, it's really handy to be able to do the sharing. Yeah, I have to admit, most of the time we are in clouds down here, and I'm quite happy with that, especially when it comes to the moon. It's more than a little strange. Am I seeing the galactic suns or different timeline sun? Any bear, a lot of it's just going to depend. Um, there have been talks of literally two suns in the skies. So it could be that you're looking at two different timelines that are like side by side as the times are shifting. And yeah, it was really this. It is very nice because, um, to coin a Harry Potter phrase, they're muggles. You know, they don't do this woo woo stuff. And so for the optometrist to be able to verify that she was actually seeing an anomaly in the sky, a UFO. I still prefer the term UFO simply because it is unidentified. It is flying. It's hanging out in the sky, and it's an object of some sort. And it was very nice that she could hear that there were other people in the area. Now, that same individual, it was maybe a month and a half after that that she got to see higher dimensional beings in her living room in broad daylight, and they were the Old Testament type higher dimensional beings because they represented as shapes. They showed up as sacred geometries in the living room. And at first she was pretty freaked out about the whole thing. And she's like, what on earth was that? And I was able to explain to her what she was seeing. Um, Ezekiel, if I remember right, had some of the sighting for that. So I'll scroll back on up. Yeah, yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So let me see. Nancy Jean's been seeing the two moons. Yeah, we have a halo. We've had a halo around the moon all month long. This is the second month that we're seeing that halo. Yeah, and I do. This is smart. Good for you. That's a little more advanced too. Once you're set and you're comfortable doing your bubbles around yourself and your own aura, you can open it up and protect your own house, property. You can also begin blessing different areas as well. At any point that you do that and you feel tired, though, just retreat your bubble, make it smaller again, bring it in closer. The longer that you do this, the further out you can go with that. And yeah, right now there are a lot of planets that are in retrograde, and that's what I mean. They're dipping back into that Piscean age, and they won't retreat. They won't go forward again until Aquarius season. So we're looking at February next month. Yeah. Yep. Do it daily. And that's one too with the bubble technique. If for any reason that you're going out and about and you're headed into, let's say you're parked at a grocery store, you can very quickly close your eyes and just run through it right quick and reset your bubble before you go into, wow, that was loud. Before you go into like the grocery store or the post office. But there's many times you try to always be connected, always in your bubble. But of course, as things come up, life comes up. If you can just pattern interrupt and go, "Whoa, wait, I'm suddenly feeling strange, or I don't feel like myself," absolutely do a bubble reset again. Praying for the sea life to move away from danger regarding an earthquake. Sure. Praying for the Ring of Fire, West Coast, everybody. Think the timelines are collapsing or simply no longer relevant. And that really actually is the truth, because with the timeline slips, what we're having is they say, and it's been said for a long time, there really is no time. Time is a human construct because there is no past. We're remembering the past. There is no future. We're imagining the future, or we're projecting our future. So there really is only the present, only the now, only the lasting now. And so I think as some of these timelines are collapsing and we're practicing becoming more into, like you said, this clear and defined timeline, this clear and defined now moment, things will shake and fall away. I gotta admit, I'm looking forward to the new. The retrograde stuff is really kind of slipped me a little bit. I don't really appreciate having to go back again because it's like, I've already done it. And universe is like, well, kind of, almost, not there entirely. So just this last little trot round and to be patient, mostly just to be patient. So I asked the archangels to do sweeps, very important as well. Do the sweeps, call on the archangels. They are here to do as much help as we ask for it, but we have to remember to ask. They can't step in until we actually ask for their help. So that'll be Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael. I'm sure there's plenty of others that I'm missing. Sandalphon, you can call on Metatron. Any of the higher ascended masters can also step in to help. Yes, that's why the present is a gift. Oogway. Kung Fu Panda. I do ask for sweeps for others as well. That's beautiful. See here, Deepak Chopra. Oops, wrong one. That slipped. So here we go. YouTube video entitled Deepak Chopra, What George Harrison Knew, and Jethro Tull Skating Away, One with the Ice Skater, written in 1973, 1974. Huh. I'll have to go look that up. You be cautious whenever you're listening to music. And again, I'm gonna give the warning on be careful with music, be careful with movies, and make sure that you're still feeling a higher frequency whenever you're doing that, because there are a lot of low frequency things that can be attached and they sneak in for those. Hello, fellow Utica. Long time no see. Wawa Nui. What hurts do we have that are supportive? Okay, so this month, and this is just support stuff for this month. So with the Hertz music, you can listen to 417, which is a solfeggio. And the other one that is supportive is 432. The supportive color this month is green, emerald. You could also do pink because it's for the high heart. Yeah, classical music in the car. Beautiful. Yeah, I tend to listen to frequency music, and even that I have to be really picky with because some of it is supportive, but if I play it for a long time, what I find is sometimes it's sneaky. It'll come in and it will be draining. And it could take me several hours before I notice that it has been draining. And then it's like, okay, you're off the list. I'm not using you. So I tend to be really picky. Anything from Sapien music tends to be extremely supportive. I love the sound energy healers. I think I've done a couple of posts for theirs, and they usually my all-time favorite from them, and that's what got me listening to the sound energy healers, is they have one that is 8D frequency that's out of this world. If you have headphones on, it's amazing. But they have these holographic jellyfish that come through. Do you trust Audible integrity? I'm not on Audible, so I really couldn't tell you. Quotable integrity. This is also where it's going to come in, Utica, for you to listen to your own body. As I said, for myself, usually I'll tend to, especially if it's something new, I will check in with my heart or my gut. You're very welcome, humanity, and see what my feedback is. If my tummy goes sour, I'm out of there. If my heart starts to flutter and not in a good way, I'm out of there. Yeah, I like Rossi saying the guy and the cat with the cat. There's a guy that sits with these incredible crystal bowls that he plays for resonant frequency, and his kitty cat will usually come hang out in a small chair right in the middle of it. Oh, I forgot about that. The day I actually woke myself up, that was a first for me. I woke myself up because while I was sleeping, I was purring like a cat, which was crazy. I don't think I've ever done that before. So I'll have to keep an eye out for any of the Lyrans, see if there's any messages coming in from the Lyrans or something. Yeah, that was bonkers. I've never in my life done that. And it wasn't the snoring thing, because the snoring thing is further down in the throat. This was actually higher up in the throat. It was like at the back of the throat. That was bonkers. But yeah, I'm like, where's the cat coming from with the purring? It dawned on me it was me. Whoa, that's pretty freaky. Although that's also great because they've shown mechanically, and this is for people that have colds or illnesses. A lot of times, if people have their pet cats, they will notice that their cat comes next to them and purrs. And the reason why is because that is a mechanical frequency that will help you to heal that much faster. So the cats will use that as a healing technique of its own. Yeah, that channel, the healing vibration. He does a live meditation also where everybody prays to. Yeah, that was pretty wild. I'd forgotten about that one. That happened a few nights ago. I'm going to scroll back up right quick. I think I missed something. It's really nice to see you again, Utica. Yeah, I'm listening to the Hertz music only. Oh, my legs are really achy though. I hope it wanes. I hope so too. Is it the legs primarily, Annie Bear? I mean, is it like your knees? Is it all your legs? Is it your feet? I'm just trying to listen in to hear if there is anything that comes back from. That's one too. I know you do a lot of walking. If you were walking on asphalt or blacktop roads or sidewalks, you may consider finding a path, a footpath, something that's a soft ground that you might walk on instead. Calves, okay. Sure. Knees and calves, knees for the Utica. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to shoot some extra energy out to the legs, to the knees for both of you, and the calves. Okay, that might be it then. Yeah, back in the day, well, twofold. One, I know with horses, if you do a lot of trotting with horses on asphalt, it causes what's called road founder, which is pretty damaging. And I also have a friend, and back in the day, in the army, they used to do a lot of parades and a lot of running on asphalt, and it would actually lead to fractures for the females. So yeah, if you can try to go over onto the grass. Usually there's grass somewhere alongside the sidewalks or your walk path. That might be easier on you. And for the calves, what you might find is I'm hearing the angle of your shoe bed somehow. So Dr. Scholl's, a lot of times they have like different inserts that you can do into your shoes. So you might play around with that, see if maybe a lift under your heel or something a little more supportive under the arch. I'm hearing heel mostly. So I wear pressure socks. Yeah, see with the Dr. Scholl's if there's something in there as well. On the 9-9 numerical portal for the Gregorian calendar, yeah. But as I was saying earlier, for the Lemurian calendar, we're on a 4-9-2026. Woohoo! Yeah, I walk almost every day at a nature preserve, and oops, they use the soft wood chips for the trails. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And yeah, Dr. Scholl's, we adore Dr. Scholl's. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yes, everybody that's celebrating, happy 999 666 396. 2026. Vibrams. Is this another name, Rush? Is this another name for like a foot support? I'm always keen to hear of other alternatives. Oh, and that's one too with the Dr. Scholl inserts. Sometimes if it doesn't fit into your shoe, I've been known to like cut off the portion for an arch support. I can cut off like the ball of the foot part and then shove it up underneath the footbed, and it gives just enough support to the archway, but doesn't impinge what my balls of the feet are doing. Because I have feet that just love to spread out and grip the ground whenever I walk, and it can be a royal pain sometimes, but I need the support or the change because I do like to have uh, a shoe that fits just right too. So yeah, I'm going to watch this afterwards, but I hope you discussed the blue and the red stars. No, I did not. Which blue and red star do you want to talk about? There's one star that I keep seeing, and that is the Arcturus. If you look at the Big Dipper and you take the handle down to the first bright star past the handle, it's called Arc to Arcturus. That's how you find it by navigation. And that particular star has been stalking me for several years. And whenever it flashes in the night sky, it does a lot of the blue and the red coloration whenever it's twinkling at me. Oh, that's interesting. So Vibrams is a foot glove, but it is a shoe, and it'll include the toes. That's fascinating. Thank you, Rush. Okay, so we have Okay, sure. So we have the Hopi prophecy and the Kachina twin stars. Yes. And I don't know if Annie Bear's still in here or not, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're past the Kachina stage. I think the Kachina stage with that prophecy was 20. Ooh, I almost said 2012. Might have been 2020. But I think we're beyond the Hopi prophecy. hmm So if we have, let me see, I believe it's activation. It's always activation time. Our Star Nation family, they're right there, and it's not just the one. They're right there, and they're very supportive. So I'm curious if our solar system used to have more planets. And it's just it. We've gone through several iterations. You can still see the stardust from several different planets, like the Moldavites, the Tektites, the different things that have come down. They have been spin-offs and been pieces of dust in other places. And sometimes those are messengers that are coming in. They won't impact us. They'll come by close and we will get activations from that. So something like Chiron, Three-Eye Atlas Comet as well, Moldic. Yeah, it was interesting to see Arcturus in Vegas a couple of hours ago through the observatory. That is so cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can travel up with your mind's eye to see what's going on as well. And yeah, absolutely. We've had the Lyrans helping us. Oops. We've had the Lyrans helping us. And so, mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of different star nations that are coming through right now. Let me go back up. See, travel. I wanted to stop it from entering, but it had a good frequency. Yes. And so I knew that they were okay. So that's the blue star in the Mayan year. Could be. It could be. And let me see. I've heard the indigenous people of Turtle Island, that's Honu Island, that's North America, say that we are walking each other through a dream that we've already had. Yeah, we are walking each other home and we are simply remembering. And thank you for the music info. You're welcome. So I also listened to the Tibetan bowl and a tuning forks video. That's beautiful. So I wonder if that's why the Lemurian date today is connected. It's interesting to me because the dates themselves have had people, and yes, numerology is extremely important. Nikola Tesla had said himself that numbers are living, breathing entities. They're beings. But the question is, who gave us the calendar? Who gave us the numbers that we're working with? That's the real trick, because it's like, they say yes, and by the Gregorian calendar, yes, today 999, so 99 2025. However, who created that starting point? Is it the right calendar? It's kind of the same thing that I'm having right now. People have been asking me in my regular world, what do you think of 3i? And it's like, consider the source. Who's telling me that it's coming? Where is it coming from? Um, how do I, and that's just it. How do I feel about it? How do you feel about it? Do you feel secure in what you're being told from the sources? So I took it with a grain of salt myself. I'm not saying that there's nothing out there, but it does make me wonder, even if that is a possibility, that it doesn't even exist. That Three Eye Atlas doesn't even exist. Oumuamua, maybe it didn't exist. Um, you know, to quote from the original Highlander movie, are we seeing stars, or are they just pinpoints in the dark of night? Maybe we're inside a snow globe or something. It's a little crazy sometimes, but these are valid questions whenever you start looking around. And it's ancient Greek. That was one of the things that they did, because they wanted to ensure, as they were going through, that they did, quote, consider the source. Where's this coming from? Why are you telling me this? Is it real? Is it real for me? Is it true for me? And then just see what your body says. I'm starting to see. Oh, that's exciting, Kat. Hang on a minute here. So Kat is actually starting to see the reds and the blues around the trees. That's the auras. Yes, very exciting. That is very, very cool. Yes. Yes. And they have a huge energy source. That's why whenever I tell you to go outside and ground, and I will tell you sometimes go hug a tree. I know it sounds silly, but they have an amazingly huge biosphere. So yes, you're beginning to see the auras around that. That's very exciting. So let's see. Lori Hunsinger says, I believe that we're currently in the timeline of the Hopi prophecies. So I need to research it to hear it discussed in the present tense. Good for you. Math geek. Numbers don't lie. Yeah, but like I said, where is the starting point for numbers? I meant 3 hours ago. Good for you. I love my tuning forks and my bells. Yeah. The Gregorian chants are very fascinating. Absolutely. Yep. 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 See, yeah, I've also heard that the elementals, they have actually, think it was uh, I think it was last year that the elementals really started coming forward. And is everything a distraction? Actually, I think that is the distraction. It's interesting to me because I've been standing here watching, and when somebody starts doing that, I stand back and begin to watch, and it's like, that's been shoving to the forefront. It's been all about those files, 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 files. And it's like, while you're doing that, what are you doing sneaky in the background? Is there something else that I need to? And that's one too, where it was kind of bonkers. But a few weeks back, as much as they started to talk and yep up the Three Eye Atlas, it's like, so you're telling me to look up. Maybe I need to do the 180 and look down. What is inner earth doing? What is under the oceans doing? What is under the ground doing? How does that feel? And then just kind of feeling into it. So it's I don't know. Yeah, like hypnicity says, I often get this feeling. Um, feel like things are shook up sometimes. It's like a snow globe. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And this one too. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of different prophecies. And, that's one with the collapsing of the timelines because we're like, okay, which timeline am I in? It's a good question. You can be in multiple timelines at the same time. I've had some really crazy experiences with the mandala effects. And so each one of these prophecies can play out in their own timeline. So you'll have a timeline that will play out in its entirety, a Hopi prophecy. You will have another one that completely plays out the crazy horse solar flash prophecy. You can have another one that completely plays out Three Eye Atlas doesn't exist. You can have another one where Three Eye Atlas comes to Earth and says, "Hi, we're your Star Nation brothers and sisters." You can have another one where Three Eye Atlas decides to come to Earth and we end up turning into dust again. So there's so many things, and I think that they're all true in their own timelines. Meaning, what frequency do you want to be on? Which event do you want to have happen in your world? Yeah, I visited Three Eye Atlas. It's a mothership, so I told Source only allow it into the Earth's orbit if it's to help it ascend. Actually, it's even the message that you could be getting to, where you might be telling it that, but it may be actually telling you, "Hi, I'm only here and I'm doing a flyby, and as I come past your Earth's orbit, I am helping you to ascend." Yeah, me personally, knock on wood, I've never felt like it was going to be that strong of a threat. Started looking at a traffic light. Cat, you are really starting to step into that. That is amazing. So I started looking at a traffic light, and the whole arm that holds it had that extended. It was all red. That was cool. Yeah, it was only white before. So that's your steps. So you're beginning to see nuances. Very, very cool. So the people are doing other hidden things their way. And a lot of that I feel is what was it called? Oh, rearranging decks on the or rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, which is fine. They want to do that. Just don't involve me. Okay, gotta go. Thanks so much for hanging out, Annie Bear. See, Pam Gregory. This is gonna be interesting. I like Pam Gregory. She posted a video with a lady, Viviani, and she is an Arthurian ambassador. That's cool. She posted yesterday. She says that the Three Eye Atlas is a spacecraft, and I haven't finished listening to it yet. So there you go. So the red star indicator of a solar flash, and so there'll be 3 flashes after the red star is seen. Sure. Well, thanks for stopping by. I'm sure your grandson will enjoy. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, everybody. Well, we've been on here for quite a while, and so I'm going to go ahead and wind this one down. And thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with me. And yeah, thanks for sharing all your different ideas about what you think 3i is. Um, and for anybody that is doing your 999 portals, um, congratulations with any of your ceremonies. And I hope that you have the best outcome for all of them. And I hope you enjoy them. If that's something that you want to celebrate, absolutely go for it. And so, for everybody else, wishing you a beautiful, blessed day and the rest of your week. So, wawa nui, everybody. Wawa.